Hey, I'm Cristina Quinn. Welcome back to Try This from the Washington Post. In our last class, we learned about lifestyle changes that can help keep our brains healthy. In this third and final class, we're going to zero in on something that can lead to inflammation in the brain and in turn make you age faster. That something is stress. So we'll unpack why stress is so stressful and one easy way to help manage it. And to start, I need to page my favorite resident neuroscientist.
Richard Sima here. I cover brain health at the Post.
Well, I guess my first question is, Richard, is this brain hat scientifically accurate?
Ish. In the broadest scheme.
Allow me to explain. I met him on Zoom, and this time when I turned on my camera, I greeted him wearing a large pink foam brain hat. I love a good prop, what can I say? It's as beautiful and bold as it is absurd and anatomically misleading.
We probably don't want as prominent of a groove down the middle. There's also, I guess it gets some of the medial temporal part, but it's not fully separated in a real brain in the back.
So I asked him, well, what happens to our real brains when we're stressed out?
It's a big question because there's so many different types of stress.
Yes.
Stress is not necessarily bad. It's just something that, sort of pushes us out of our equilibrium. And then our whole body, our brain, all work together to try to get us back to that place.
Okay, so what would fall in the not necessarily bad category?
So a little bit of stress, like, challenging yourself, like going for a run or like, I almost missed the train today. So that little bit of stress is fine.
It's what makes you jump out of bed when you realize you overslept and could miss your train. And we can even learn from stressful situations.
It might even be a growing experience, something that is helpful because you're adapting to it. But when we talk about stress, we're a lot of the times talking about, work is really stressful in general, or the state of the world is stressful in general. Like that chronic stress is maybe less healthy because it's hard for us to adapt to it.
Right.
Our brain on that might be a little less resilient, maybe a little less able to adapt because we're just, sort of bathed in cortisol, and that affects our brain circuits.
Let's back up a little bit and talk about the stress hormone cortisol. Say you're in a scary situation, like you see a few coyotes hanging around while you're out at night walking your very cute and very snackable dog. By the way, this is top of mind because it just happened to my friend. This is where the brain's amygdala comes in. It's critical to processing emotions like fear and anxiety. It perceives this threat. Wait, are those coyotes? And the amygdala alerts the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a structure deep inside the brain that manages things like body temperature and hunger, and also the stress response. The coyotes are getting closer. That's not good. The hypothalamus then sends out various signals through the body's autonomic nervous system.
The autonomic nervous system is in charge of all these involuntary bodily functions.
Okay.
Like, so your heart rate, your breathing, digestion. It doesn't require you to actively think about doing those things. They do them.
The autonomic nervous system works like a switchboard between your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. When the sympathetic nervous system is activated, your adrenal glands start pumping adrenaline into your bloodstream. So you have the energy to deal with coyotes or whatever stressful situation you're in.
Yeah, so the sympathetic is that fight or flight part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this activates those things that help you get your heart rate up faster, you're maybe breathing faster. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite.
The parasympathetic nervous system is just as important. It's casually known as the rest and digest response.
So when you're not stressed out, you could maybe have more of your body resources devoted to digesting your lunch. So you're able to go back to baseline. Your heart rate is lower, your breathing maybe slower.
This takes over when the perceived threat is gone and is key in calming yourself down. It's an elegant balance, but in situations where the brain continues to feel under threat, it will then send out the big guns, which is the stress hormone cortisol. Cortisol will keep you alert and awake, always on guard, awaiting the next coyote. The thing is, if you're frequently in a state where stress hormones are flooding your system, things will get out of whack. Having too much over a prolonged period of time is bad for us and can lead to chronic inflammation. So a run-in with coyotes aside, this gets at how ongoing stressors can take a toll. Financial worries, pressures at work, illness, and as we'll hear about in a moment, being a caregiver.
Chronic stress reshapes your circuitry, your brain circuits. It also changes like the expression of genes in neurons.
Yeah.
But in general, it makes your system less adaptable in the long term.
Chronic stress is a killer, basically. We die earlier.
We die earlier. That's Dr. Helen Lavretsky. She's a neuroscientist and geriatric psychiatrist at UCLA. And she doesn't mince words.
Kind of eats out the brain. There's atrophy of gray matter volumes, and hippocampus is one area that has been well documented that atrophies because of chronic stress is related to the number of depressive episodes or just the amount of chronic stress. And aging, what it also does, it accelerates aging. So you age faster from any kind of stress.
Dr. Lavretsky is also a yoga instructor. Before she was a certified yogi, she studied memory loss in older populations and stroke patients. Over time, all of that, her time as a researcher, practicing yoga, and working with patients and their families would come together. She became increasingly interested in the mental health of her patients' caregivers.
With that came my next interest in chronic stress and how that affects people's lives, lifespan, health, and so forth.
She started exploring how yoga and breathwork could reduce chronic stress. And as luck would have it, she got funding to research it. After the break, we'll dig into that research and why she says the results were profound when it comes to brain health. In 2012, Dr. Helen Lavretsky and her team at UCLA conducted a study centered around the mental health of caregivers. And the participants' demographic wasn't entirely surprising.
So it's middle-aged and older. Mostly women, of course, because women are typically caregivers. But some men.
The researchers wanted to know if certain practices could improve mental health and cognitive function of these caregivers. So for 8 weeks, they had one group do a 12-minute daily chanting meditation. Another group simply listened to soothing instrumental music. Why chanting, you may ask?
If you think about chanting, it actually regulates your breath. So when you chant, say, sing, you're not breathing. So it kind of paces your breath.
So could you give us an example of a chant?
Well, in this instance, Kirtan creates Satanama meditation. Satanama, Satanama.
And after doing this meditation, again, for 12 minutes a day for 8 weeks,
it had a profound effect on their biology and brain.
Dr. Lavretsky and her team found that there was reduced activity of certain proteins in this chanting group, proteins that are linked to inflammation at the cellular level. And here's what really blew her away.
What was amazing to me was that cognition changed. They demonstrated improvement in brain wiring and gray matter volumes and connectivity and metabolism, but also cognitive improvement, which they didn't need. They were like in the normal range, but even they improved.
She says these practices can rewire the brain. Caregivers in the study also experienced a decrease in feelings of depression.
Breathing is like immediate rebalancing.
Subsequent research has also seen this effect. In a study published in Cell Reports Medicine in 2023, researchers at Stanford University found that just 5 minutes of breath work each day for a month could improve mood and reduce anxiety. Here's Richard again.
It's an easy way to self-regulate. It's something that's always available to us. And it actually is a way, when we slow our breathing, to balance our sympathetic with our parasympathetic nervous system.
And the great thing about breathing is that it's free.
Yeah.
And in this economy, Richard, free sounds pretty great.
Yeah, it is. I will say that when I caught my train, I was doing breath work to lower my heart rate again and to get back into a more calm state of mind. And yeah, it's like you said, it's available. I could just sit down, take a moment, slow my breathing down, and feel myself feel a lot less stressed than just a minute before.
So for more context, most people breathe between 12 to 20 times a minute. That translates to doing a breath cycle every 3 to 4.5 seconds. But researchers like Dr. Lavretsky say that the magic number is more like all the way down to 5.5 or 6 breaths a minute. Slowing down your breathing activates the vagus nerve. It's a long bundle of nerves that carries information between the brain and vital organs, including the heart, lungs, and digestive tract. It's a major part of your parasympathetic nervous system, and breathwork is one way your body uses the vagus nerve to communicate with the brain to slow your roll.
It's a way of trying to regulate our stress response from what we get from our body and also from what our brain is telling our body. And this is like the superhighway that connects these internal senses that we might not think about, but have a big role to play in how we feel,
right?
How we are.
Dr. Lavretsky prescribes breathing exercises to some of her patients.
And what I do with giving them these tools, I rewire them back to health. So our bodies are, and brains included, amazing machine that is self-healing, self-restructuring. You just have to help it. Mm-hmm. And knowing the tools that you could use to rewire yourself gives you this power and mastery over your life and your body.
So let's open the toolbox, shall we? The easiest place to start is with a technique called box breathing. You breathe in for 3 seconds, then hold for 3 seconds. Breathe out for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds. You can do it for 4 seconds or longer, but 3 is a good place to start. We're going to have a mini bonus episode after this one, where I'll guide you through a breathing exercise. So keep an eye out for that. There are other things in the toolbox. Dr. Lavretsky says there's value in simply taking some deep breaths outside.
If you do it in nature, it would have an additional effect. If you do it in joyous activities like dance or singing or groups drumming, for instance, is very... So you do this with other components that enhance your joy.
What Helen's saying is if you don't want to sit and do breathing exercises for 5 to 10 minutes a day, there are other activities that deliver the effects of breathwork, like yoga, singing, humming. These things can make you think more intentionally about your breathing.
Breathing is important. You can slow decline if you do it routinely, but breath is just one tool. It's best to find 2 or 3 other tools for young people out there. You know, music could be one other tool, and you could breathe and listen to music. The recent research also discovered that when you do more than one thing, it has a more impact on the brain.
Being with other people, doing things you enjoy, that's part of it too. And we heard that in the last episode with the findings from the Pointer study. And of course, there's exercise, eating well, getting off of our devices. Sometimes therapy can be a big help. The list goes on. And now I have a new appreciation of remembering to just breathe. So that's it for the audio course on brain health. But before I let you go, recap. Short-term stress can be helpful, but when chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol, it messes with neural circuits and can even shrink areas of the brain, which can then accelerate aging. The amygdala and hypothalamus activate the sympathetic nervous system, raising heart rate and alertness. Once a perceived threat passes, the parasympathetic system takes over and restores balance. But ongoing activation keeps the body in alert mode, disrupting the cycle and potentially causing chronic inflammation. The good news is that you can reduce stress through breathwork. And the best part about it is that it's free. Slowing your breathing down to around 5 to 6 breaths per minute can rewire the brain, improve mood, and even increase cellular longevity. Lastly, sprinkle some joy into it. Do breathwork outside if you can, or get a karaoke microphone and sing with some friends. Try This is produced and hosted by me, Cristina Quinn, and Taylor White. The show's editors are Thomas Liu and Kanya Krit von Kitkajorn. Additional editing by Renita Jablonski. Charla Freeland is our video editor. Darren Taylor is our social video animator. Sound design and mixing is by Ted Muldoon. Theme music is by Catherine Anderson. Show art is by Kati Huertas, with design editing from Christian Font and Greg Manifold. The things I learned in working on the show really do change how I think and do things day to day. So I also want to hear from you. Tell me what you took away from our course and what you do to keep your brain fit as a fiddle. Record a voice memo or send me a note at trythis@washpost.com. Please be sure you give me your whole name and how you spell it. The email address again is trythis@washpost.com. Thanks for listening.